Man of the match, that's Pastor Fred. Make a man wanna do Holy Communion, fam, like Pastor Bread. Give God the thanks for the bloody shit. Give God the thanks to support the Reds. And I don't mean Liverpool, no, not even as Simon said. What? Man of the match, that's Pastor Fred. Make a man wanna do Holy Communion, fam, like Pastor Bread. Give God the thanks for the bloody shit. Give God the thanks to support the Reds. And I don't mean Liverpool, no, not even as Simon said. What?
Yo, this is the OT99 Bantering, where opinions are shared and smoke gets served. Look, we're back again with another show. It's your boy Terms, and I'm joined today by NK and Edwin. And today we are going to talk about the match at hand: Manchester United versus Crystal Palace. Manchester United first game with Ralph Rangnick at the helm. And what happened? Manchester United got the victory. Man United got their first clean sheet in God knows how long. Manchester United got their first back-to-back win in God knows how long. Look, I am excited today. Look, guys, I'm sitting there full of gas thinking, Man United could be on a rise. Man United has turned the tables. Man United's got a good run of fixtures coming up. Manchester United could be sitting very pretty at the end of this bull run, if you know about trading, you get me? So Manchester United is back in the game. Look, guys, we was querying about like Ralph Rangnick and like all of these tactics. We've been hearing his speeches, do you know what I mean? Been watching YouTube videos. We saw all of that stuff going around. And we were looking at all of these possible formations. And I think one thing I can guarantee that Ralph Rangnick was going to do is play two strikers, because all of these formations that I saw, he had two strikers. That's the only thing I knew. Outside of that, I didn't know if it would be a 4-3-3 or five at the back, three centre backs and then two wing. I didn't even know what it would be. But we saw it was a 4-2-2-2. Yeah, 4-2-2-2. So guys, let me know. First of all, give me a breakdown of your assessment, NK, of what you saw, and then bring it back to the formation. And what was you comfortable with that formation on the weekend?
Yeah, you know what? For anybody here who don't understand why managers are key in football,
Everything.
Watch United game versus Arsenal and Man United with two different people managing a team, and you can straight away tell the difference. That
what you mean? What would you mean? Sorry, watch the game between Arsenal and then watch the game with this one.
Because we play Thursday and Sunday. Literally, that's like 3-day gaps. But the football that we play on Sunday and Thursday was totally different. Like totally different, you know. So people who don't understand, does managers make a big difference? That is exactly what you need. And you know what? This guy only had what? He said he had 40 minutes. 40 minutes training with these guys, you know. And that was the result. But the first thing, obviously, he kept the same team from Thursday, to which I'm not surprised by, because obviously he hasn't had a chance to kind of like get to know the team. So it's good to go safe. And I feel like maybe he would probably be more influenced by the coaches to say, hey, you know what, these guys are normally will be the first 11 anyway. So he went with the same, the same 11. But one thing that he said in his press conference, and he said it over and over and over again, is control. The word control. He used the word control quite a lot. And if there's anything about our performance on Sunday, it was control. You know what? For a very long time, I never watched United thinking, the other team is going to score. We were very comfortable for the whole game. Yes, there was set pieces where Crystal Palace was kind of like threatened, but I think we were more feeling nervous because of what I was having previously, you know, not necessarily because of this game. So we were in control of the whole game, like for the whole game too. When we first started, I didn't know what formation we were playing. I still thought we were playing a 4-2-3-1 formation with Bruno and number 10. So I literally thought that was the same formation. And the first thing instantly, where we had a corner, Rashford tried to run the defender. We had a corner, and then we took the corner, and they were showing the replay. And as they were showing the replay, they cut it off quickly, and United literally was pressing Crystal Palace and nearly got a chance. And then I'm thinking, whoa, this game is going to be quick today. And you know what? The whole game, they could not show replay. because the game was that quick. And you know what? Credit to Crystal Palace because they didn't come play negative football. They came to play football, but United was just on them so much that they couldn't even do nothing too. And then later on, I think it was later on, that's when the commentator picked on that we were actually not playing that formation we always play, and we actually playing a 4-2-2. And Bruno was on the right-hand side, Sancho was on the left, and Rashford and Ronaldo was playing up top. But then those two were playing as a narrow number 10.
It was a very narrow formation. Very narrow.
Yeah, it was a very narrow formation. And you know what? We always sit here, and I think, was it against like Chelsea? And then you were talking about, I ain't seen Man United press like that. That wasn't pressing. This is pressing. This is pressing because when they get a ball, when they go, it's like they go, you go, everybody, it's like man marking. You don't have to do two words like man marking kind of like pressing. You take this guy.
I think what we saw was a difference between Carrick's formation where he played 3 flat midfielders and maybe like packing out the midfield versus a system with Ralph Ragnick where it wasn't just by luck and populating the midfield, but it was actually a coordinated press, a Gengen press, they call it, against the opposition where you outnumbered the opposition in terms of who was on that ball. So you will have at least 2 or 3 men at once that will suffocate the opponent, get that ball, collect it higher up the pitch, and then quickly make a forward pass and create an attacking play.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing. The thing is, it wasn't even 3 people suffocating 1 player. It was 1-on-1. But then what was so amazing was that,
At times. But I think the way the press was that, because you know what, naturally in games, center backs and fullbacks are not your greatest people on the ball anyways, you know? So if you put pressure on them, they will not have time to know where the ball was going. So I think one of the calculated things is they know like, hey, if I rush this guy, the only thing is he's going to try to pass the ball there, and then the pressing in the first, like up to like the 30th minute was just beautiful to watch. We were pressing. Everybody was just doing their job well. Ronaldo was pressing. These media people about Ronaldo can't press. Ronaldo showed level of pressing, but you know, and we were pressing. And I think around the 25th minute, I saw the stats. It says something like we had like 59 ball possession and 7 shot. And I think it didn't even feel like we actually had the ball because we were just running so much. It didn't even see that we actually had possession, but that was how great. And you know what? Every United fan, if you were watching the game first 30 minutes, you could feel like, you know what, we are gonna score at some point in this game, and this game was not even gonna be a near-no, man. So the whole approach to the game was very good. Everybody knew what their job was and everything like that. So, bro, the first half was one of the best I've seen all season. So Edwin, let's bring you into this conversation. I know you never watched the game, but we're going to bring you into this conversation because what we saw was a first half that was very action-packed. Like NK said, it was a game where maybe the first 30 minutes or so, Manchester United was intent, like the intensity was sky high. We was closing down balls, was pressing coordinated fashion, and we was creating a lot more opportunities and chances, right? And I think I was looking at some next sort of pundits talk about Manchester United, and what they did say was when they compared the running with Ole Gunnar, like the running of the team and the distance covered with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer versus this team, there wasn't too much difference in it. The difference was that the running of this team had purpose. It was like not the headless chicken running that may be utilizing Fred's energy in a wasteful manner, but instead we were doing the running pressing, and it was more effective. So the distance covered wasn't too different, but the impact of it was very coordinated. Now, what I would say to you is this, and I know that your favorite topic is Harry Maguire. Now, what I wanted to say in this, and it's a shame that you didn't get to watch the game, but what we did see, Edwin, is the fact that when we had this protection, so we had Ronaldo and Rashford up top. Behind them, we had Sancho and Bruno Fernandes, who had the permission to they were tucked in narrow, but they had the position, they had the sort of the authority to go out wide, run between the lines as well, the channels. And then we had Scott McTominay and Fred. And then we had our usual back four, Dalot and Telles now as our new fullbacks. But what we saw was Fred and McTominay completely marshaled that midfield. And the reason why they marshaled that midfield so well, more Fred, to be honest, less McTominay, more Fred. The reason why he was able to marshal that midfield and he was so effective is because he always had guys very close to him. The distance, where you used to see in Manchester United and seeing guys like 20 yards away, 30 yards away, right, with the 4-2-3-1 formation. What we saw on the weekend was guys that was only a few yards away from each other. So when Fred one-on-one that ball back, he literally looked up and there was 2-3 men around him. And what does he do best? Lay it quickly off to someone. They take the ball, do what they need to do. The more creative players are able to like create chances from that. So he's very effective in that. He's not needing to like do a lot of running around, chasing and everything like that. So also that's what we saw. But back to Maguire. Because they had so much protection in Scott McTominay, Fred, and then the two attacking midfielders in front of them, it sort of jam-packed that midfield. There was no sort of penetration through our defense at all. Maguire literally had an easy game. There was no mistakes. Could you remember any mistakes, NK, in that whole game?
No, from him. I think one of the key aspects is that, I mean, we saw most of the ball, so we didn't have to do a defense. And as I said to you, like going forward, it's going to be that we're going to have less defending to do if we continue to play the way we play. But as a top class defender, you just need to switch on when like their chances come. And I feel like in a way we kind of like dealt with it too. Even De Gea too had a quiet game too, but he also needs to start working more on his like what do you call it? Being a sweeper keeper, because you can tell we were what do you call it? We were defending very high off the pitch, and there was instances where he had to come off this box to come and like take the ball, because you know teams are gonna try those kind of a ball. But the thing about the centre backs is that I think Lindelof took command. Lindelof was seeing more of the ball than Maguire was, and the time that Maguire got the ball, I think there was one instant he got the ball, he didn't have no option there. He just literally hit it for the ball to go to Troy. He didn't even try to turn around or do it. He just literally hit it to the Troy. And then
You're not selling it, bro. You're not selling it.
That was just very simple. We done that thinking, okay, my captain. Where's Edwin, bro? Come and see my guy playing ball, bro.
Do you know what it is, yeah?
Yeah.
You know what it is? Like, obviously, I didn't see the game. I saw the highlights, right? I look at the stats. They said, Man United, within the first 25 minutes, won the ball like over 5 times in the third, most than they have. And I think like that's what I'm saying. Like I think like what NK said is true. Like no matter what players you've got in a team, you need a good manager. You know what I mean? Because okay, let's be honest here. And I go back to this point, when Chelsea won the Champions League, right, they finished quite high. They didn't buy no players. They had the same players. You remember, because they couldn't buy players because of. And imagine, the management and the formation was so good, they could afford to have a striker that wasn't scoring. Remember, what's his name? What's the German? Werner. Werner was struggling. He wasn't scoring. But he set a formation that worked, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if you've come in as a manager, if you're a good tactical manager, you know how to get the best out of what's there. You can do it. And I think with him, what we're gonna see with him is he's only had 45 minutes. We're gonna see his imprint. So he even said in his interview that they haven't mentioned it, but he's open to staying longer.
He said, I think he dropped a little. He said
it in the thing. He said that it's not been discussed. He's got a 2-year advisory, but he would be if it gets to the end of the season, he will recommend. If they ask for his view, he will recommend that they keep him on for another season. And I feel like if he comes and he stamps his authority and we start playing a good way of football, pressing in his way, I think we keep him, because there's no point of us creating a type of football that's working and bringing another manager that will probably dismantle it. Because you've got to remember, this guy, as much as people say he hasn't managed at big clubs, he's knowledgeable, and you can't take away someone's football experience and knowledge. So, and he's confident as well. He speaks well. He's not you know what I mean? Like, so I really
on the
feel
t-shirt.
The thing is, obviously, it's one game. We can't get too carried away, because come on, look, we started the season off with that Leeds performance, and we thought we were going to be out all attack, and look what happened. True. So it's one game, so we'll see in a couple months. But I really do feel like if he makes an imprint on the club and they're playing a certain way, and I like this way we're playing. The highlights I saw were just pressing. You know what I mean? There was, like NK said, there's no time for even think about whether they're defending, because you're pushing so much and you're controlling. It's like Man City. Man City control the game so much, and they press so much that even if they get an attack, maybe now and then they may leak goals, but sometimes they don't even. Their defenders could be even worse than ours, but we will never know because of the way they play football.
Bro, and this is what I mean.
Exactly.
Do you know what I kept on saying? I kept on saying, right? I kept on saying this in our sort of our vids, right? I can't look past the manager and the coaching staff. Like, I can't judge the players' abilities based off the direction, the sort of the tactics that they're being given. It's very difficult.
It's also the manager though, because even this new manager, remember he said that, like, I feel like, because I've done some research on him, the coaches that he's worked really well with, they're all tied in, like he said, to clubs. So you can't in long term. So he's mentioned that there's 1 or 2 he wants to bring in. So I think he's got his eye on 1 and 2, but he's happy to keep the general coaching staff, right? Because they understand. But this is another good thing about a manager, not only getting the best out of your players, but also the coaching staff. Because with him, because he's managed and he's had the role of being advisory and being quite high, like he can literally control everything. Like he could tell the coach,
multifaceted, right?
Yeah, like he knows all levels. You know, certain people, they've been in all levels, so he could actually be like, look, I want the players on the coaching to be like, and I want the coaching staff to train the players on this style. So not only are the players going to be learning the coaching style, the playing style, the coaches will be learning how to coach the players to play that playing style.
100%, you know what I mean? And I think what we saw on is only one game, and I'm getting gassed, but this is what we like. You can't blame us.
I'm not gonna get gassed because after that Leeds game, I was getting happy.
Bro, do you know what? You know I'm getting gassed.
After that Leeds game, but this was nothing like
this. This is why I'm getting gassed, because I actually saw a pattern of play. 1, I ain't seen that in 2. We actually kept a clean sheet, bro. We actually kept a clean sheet. Like, it's mad. And 3.
But we're lucky. No, we're lucky though, because that Ayew, if he had bagged that shot,
I'll get onto that.
NK, if our Ghanaian brother was on target, it would have been the clean sheet would have been.
The Juju was working on Sunday, bro. The Juju was working on Sunday, bro.
You get what I'm saying? So,
but like you said, I agree. Like you said, managers are like, we know about them, but they're very underrated. Like, it's like you can get a manager like Ralph Ragnick, and I know it's still early days, but the way he can install all of that knowledge, he's just worth having in the club, in and around the club. And for someone that's so easily obtainable, that can change the fortunes, even if it is so far for 1 or 2 games, or even if it is teaching and upskilling our existing coaches and stuff, or teaching the board or 1 or 2 things about that direction that we should be going in, is invaluable. And the thing is, right, is we see all of these guys just laying around, but it takes a crisis for us to proactively go out and reach out to these people. Why do we operate like that and wait till we're like in a position where we can't qualify for Champions League, where we can't, not qualify for Champions League, but you know what I mean? Like we're in a position where we're fighting. Why?
No, but do you know what? Sometimes you need time to show things, innit? And like, but under Solskjaer, we didn't know all the problems, right? So the problem with Solskjaer is it was the team not playing to what the level they should, but also on the coaching staff, he just is not ready. Like, unfortunately, I feel like a couple years at other teams understanding it, he could have come back and done much better. But we also have to realize he's so young in coaching, and to take on that's a big job coming to Man United. It's not only managing the expectations, and you're a legend at one thing. So this is another reason why I think this Ragnar might be good as a manager for us in the long term, or maybe a couple years, because you can see he will take a contract maybe year by year. Is when you bring in people like Pochettino, that because of their name and where they've been, the expectation is going to be too high. A lot of people we don't know until we done our research. We didn't know about this guy. I even forgot he came to Old Trafford and when he lost with his team, right? But when you do research on him, you're like, okay, he's influenced this and he's been here, he's found these players. Because people don't know him, he can just relax. Have you realized there's no expectations that if Poch came now, there would have been like, Poch has to win this, so he has to do. We've just got a manager listed. All you have to do is stabilize the team.
It's like Oli when he first came in after Mourinho, where it was so bad. I know we aren't in that position now, but it was so bad. Oli was under no pressure when he immediately came, other than just putting an arm around people and saying, you know what, like. But
you know what this manager has got? He seems he's got that touch that Solskjaer has in terms of like. Actually, he's a bit better. Like I think he understands. Like, number one, he speaks well. He understands the game. You know, he don't get into any foolishness. He tells the truth. But you can't. One thing you can never give someone is experience. And experience is priceless in football. We know this already. You know what I mean? Like, it's so, especially as managers, like, because let's be honest, yeah. When I watched this documentary about Ferguson struggled at Man United. It's just that he was lucky that he was at. If Ferguson was at Man United now, he would have got sacked. It's just that he was manager of a time where they gave you a chance. It wasn't this whole flipping managers. But his experience over the years showed that he can do, you know what I mean, achieve anything. So with this other guy, his experience, it may not be on a big level, but once you understand football and you have, the problem is he has I think NK said this, he has a style of football. So this style of football he has, that I forgot what it's called, but the high pressing, remember they've got a name for it. They said they created the style of football.
Gengen press.
And the thing about it, he's got a style of football that he implements on all of his teams. So he knows that style back to back.
He's very. Yeah, I know what you mean. He's just.
Oli didn't have a style. Oli was just like, you know what? Here's the guns, go out blazing. Like he didn't have no, you know what I mean? Like, but this guy, he's got a formation where he's used it so much. All he does is flip it into the team. So because he's got a style that he understands, and he's become an expert in it, something he created, it's easy for him to implement that on the team than someone like Oli who just going like, you know what, I'm just here for the vibes. Yeah,
I 100% agree, and I feel like with I think one thing I really love about Rangnick so far is his attention to detail. He properly analyzes the game and tells you. He doesn't criticize you in a negative way like Mourinho does. Sometimes when he's upset and angry and his responses come from like anger, that's probably going to get him a fine. It's more like articulate. He really does assess the game and says, you know what, in the first 30 minutes, whatever, it was looking good. After that, performance levels dipped, second half, but we controlled the game. He picks out the things that we were doing honestly and things that we weren't doing well and things we could have improved on. And you listen to Tuchel, and then Tuchel does the same thing. Do you know what I mean? He does the same thing.
You see him, even with Fred, he was like, he looked over to his coach and was like, shit, does Fred know how to shoot with his right foot? I thought he could only shoot with his left. Exactly. So like, even him saying that, he's like, okay, now we can maybe even do more drills with Fred shooting with his both feet. You know what I mean? These little things. Oli would never have said that. Oli would have just said, wonderful goal.
I know, and that's annoying. And that's annoying because with Oli, I felt like he was doing too much protection of the players thing. He's never really honestly assessing a game. Like, he'll be like, we need to come back fighting in the next game. We need to come back better.
Oli didn't know how to assess the game, because even if you look at it, I mean, like going backwards, I don't think Man United used to look back at games and even correct their mistakes going forward. I think that's something that they don't do, because even with him straight away, after watching 90 minutes on his interview, he picked up his style. He said it to me. He said McTominay and Fred were very almost perfect defensively, but he said, but then he used the word "but." He said going forward, they were making one or two square passes, and I don't like that. It was more than one that they done. But he was just trying to tell like, hey, you know what? Even though they were good defensively, offensively, they done one or two stuff that I don't like, but we're going to work on it. That was one of the key things that he said there too. So straight away, he already read it. And also he was able to pick up that we were much in control, but then in the last kind of like few minutes or so, we kind of like dropped on two. That was something that he was able to also pick that too. They tried to ask about Ronaldo too. Straight away, he shipped the Ronaldo, feel like Ronaldo worked hard for the team and everything. So he was able to kind of like picked up on some of the stuff that
because it's what we're seeing. It's a breath of fresh air. Like we're actually seeing it, and I'm so happy that Rangnick's like, you know what I mean, like properly assessing the game. Like us fans are watching it, seeing what's happening as well, and being like, yeah, I agree with you, Rangnick, on that. Yes, I didn't really notice that, but thanks for like bringing that to our attention. We never got that for Oli for the longest of times, and I'm just glad that we're getting that today. Do you know what I mean? And I'm going forward. But NK, let me bring this to you. Yeah. Obviously, Manchester United's formation was a 4-2-2-2, and it allowed our fullbacks to do their thing. So Dalot has been on a madness, right? Real madness. Telles was on a madness. We saw in the early stages of the first half, right, Telles got that little bending shot that just went narrowly wide. And then you saw Dalot as well, that had an attempt where I think Scott McTominay done like a backheel flick thing, and then Dalot sort of curled it. It just missed the top corner as well. And then you see Dalot whipping in crosses as well from the right-hand side. What I'm seeing now, right, is two fullbacks consistently being part of our play, consistently being part of our game. I know that Dalot was in form as well, even under Carrick, but what I saw against Palace was two fullbacks that we've never utilised in this way before in a very long time, since forever probably. Now coming into it, looking like two potential lethal attacking fullbacks that can both cross, that can both like beat a man. Remember, like Dalot, yeah, leading up to that goal, right? From Fred, right? It was Dalot that was bombing down that wing, beat a man, laid it onto Greenwood. Greenwood laid it off to Fred, and Fred like curled it in right foot, that loopy shot. It was Dalot that started off that attack. And I'm just glad to see, because when we have Aaron Wan-Bissaka back there, we're not really seeing too much of that. Luke Shaw recently has been he's not been Roberto Carlos, he's been Roberto Carlos. I don't even know what he's not been about. So bringing it back to the question I'm about to ask you, NK. Do you think that Dalot and Telles are the right picks going forward, considering that, you know, you're going to have Luke Shaw coming back, you're going to have Aaron Wan-Bissaka coming back? When they're fully fit, what do you do? What does Ralph Rangnick do? What direction does he go?
Yeah, you know, I don't... To me, one thing I hated about Ole was that there was certified players that you say, oh, they are the number one right back, number two right back. Yes, you need to have those kind of like players that you rely on from like game to game in what. But I don't want to say Dalot should be like the number one right back going forward, or tell us to be. I want rotation, you know. Utilize both of them in games as you go along. Maybe one play 2 games, one play 1. But you know what? I think from the way we play on on Sunday, well, Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw, they got trouble getting back into this team, because the thing about it, if someone is playing well, you keep on playing them, you know, especially like in the big games. Obviously, rotates when you need to, but then always they're going to be one. One of the things that I noticed the most is, if you watch most of our games, our fullbacks here, some of the runs that they make useless runs. And Ole, anyways, they used to make like silly runs. Like Luke Shaw, for example, Luke Shaw will always be ahead there, just chilling, waiting for the ball to come to him. And then Rashford will be behind him most of the time. This wasn't the case at all. The fullback waited, because obviously Bruno and Sancho were playing very narrow. So what they do was, because they were playing narrow, you wouldn't see Dalot just chilling there waiting for the pass to go. They were still there. And when someone got the ball in the midfield, that's when they just make themselves available, like put it forward and I will run towards that. They were not just going there for someone to man-mark them. They stay in their own half, and when we are in the possession or someone good is on the ball, then they make themselves available. And they were they were more like, if you look for it, they were more like our playmakers. Although Bruno was getting the ball and Bruno was trying to cross it, our fullbacks was more like our playmakers. And going for it's a bit like how Liverpool does it. If you look at Liverpool, their midfielders and the creators of the team, their fullbacks are. And I feel like United going forward, our fullbacks are going to be very, very key in terms of how we play. And Aaron Wan-Bissaka attacking kind of like game is very, very questionable. That's one thing we've always just said that too. Even defensively too, he has been having problems too. And yesterday too, Dalot, defensively he was amazing. You know, Zaha started the game, on on the left hand side, which means that he was facing Dalot in the first few minutes. Well, he did not have no joy, because he thought he was going to face Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and I know that when he faced Aaron Wan-Bissaka like 2 seasons ago, he destroyed him. He was the first winger that destroyed Wan-Bissaka. So I think he literally thought he was going to face him. Dalot had him there, and to the point he switched. He pocketed him, and then you know what? He switched rings to say, you know what? I ain't having no joy here. Let me try to tell us like, what you saying here? Move after here, Bob. He told him, Bob, don't come with that nonsense, Bob, man. We are both on they had him. So it wasn't only offensively that were good, defensively too, they were very, very good. Like they were very, very, they had the cover, they were just doing their job too there yesterday. So as I said to you, it was very, very assured. And then going forward, I mean, Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw is going to be watching that game and thinking like, whoa, you know, when I go into training the next day,
now.
I need to put in a shift. I need to put on a shift because what this guy's done, I need to do better to get back into this thing, for sure.
You know what, right? Another question, right? Now that we've got Dalot firing and he looks like he's hit a bit of form, this one might go to you actually, Edwin. Do we still look at bringing in another right back? Or do we go through January, leave January or whatever the summer, sticking with the existing fullbacks that we've got? I.e. Kieran Trippier. That one goes out to you, Edwin. You're on mute, bro.
So like, you got to remember, like NK said, do you know what is funny now? Like, you know when there's always rumors about, like this person influence, you can actually see the way Man United have just played in this one game, how Klopp and Tuchel have been influenced by this guy's way of play.
The way you just skipped my question.
No. It's to answer your question. Because let's answer your question about whether we should need a new right back, right?
Yeah.
So the same with Alonso. At one point, Alonso was looking like he was surplus.
Yeah.
And then they gave him a chance and he started playing well. And that's the same with Dalot. Like, a lot of us will say he's not good enough, but he's played for what we need in terms of attacking. He does enough defensively. He's good. He puts in crosses.
He's surprising me, man.
Wan-Bissaka likes to pass the ball way too much or try and go for a 1-2. He'll put the cross in. He even cuts in. He's not scared to try and use his feet. So I say that to say, on the back of like how those other formations is, when you give certain players a chance, they may just show that you don't need. You know what I mean? Because he kept Chilwell out the team, Alonso, and he done well. So like, even for Dalot, if he's doing well and he's still quite young, he's already got that Portuguese presence in Bruno and Ronaldo. Give him a chance. I would say give him a chance. Because there's no point getting Trippier. He's not that he's super young anyway. He's in his first, you know what I mean? I would say give him a chance because what he showed us that he's done well. You know what I mean? The last 2 games he stepped in, he's done well. I think what it shows also is the importance of having a coach that not only brings the best out of players that are good, but also develops players. You know what I mean? Because I think that's our problem with Oli, that we can never see him improving the young players. He was only good. If you're already established, you're already good under him because you had nothing more to prove. So and this guy seems invested in the young players. He said straight away, we've got experience and we've got young players. So I think people like Greenwood, Dalot, all these players that were probably on the fringe, or potentially someone like Dalot that could have left, he might benefit and he might actually be. And I think that's what Wan-Bissaka needs. Wan-Bissaka needs someone that could get him out the team at any point because he was getting too comfortable of starting every week. Every game. You know what I mean?
Remember Ralph Ragnick saying that he wants to try and get more out of Rashford, Greenwood, and who was that third? But Sancho, attacking wise. Because what we did do, we looked like we're creating chances in a way, but our penetration in terms of getting in front of that goal, putting it in the net, wasn't as effective.
Yeah, but then that was more
one of the downsides on what Ralph.
Yeah, that was. I think that was more to do with. I think after the first minutes or so, the first 45 minutes or so, I think the players kind of like went back into their old ways where they kind of like stopped believing in what the manager. Because I don't think we done enough training. I think it was more kind of like talking to them about how he wanted to approach the game. So second half, you can just see that the approach kind of like just shifted a little bit and everything like that. So the substitution thing kind of like done it. But even before I even go there too, about right back, I don't think we need another right back. I think we for now to the end of the season, keep Wan-Bissaka and Dalot. Let them compete. Let's see if Wan-Bissaka go like to the end of the season to develop like his attacking kind of like side to way. And even if he doesn't develop it, why not go a right back that's Edwin led. Well, and he's very good. I've been hearing good things about him in the championship too. Add him to the mix, let the two of them kind of like compete. Because one thing about this manager too, and you know what, yesterday he done something that was very, very brave. That, you know what, and only we would have never seen. Game was 0-0, and when the game was 0-0 and United were chasing for a goal, he sent on two young players to come and change the game. He sent on Greenwood, who is very young player, and then after that, he sent on Elanga, who has not even played a single minute.
And I really wanted to see Elanga get minutes because what he was doing in preseason, I'm thinking, this guy, but he looks quick.
For him to do that in preseason, they didn't send him out on loan, and we haven't even seen him then, which was very shocking. And you know what? And now you're thinking, what's this manager gonna do? He brought on 2 young guys to change the game, and in a way, it did change the game because Greenwood came on. He was very positive too. I thought at the time when he made the sub, I felt like it was a wrong sub. I felt like it should be Rashford for Greenwood. Yeah. But then he kept Greenwood on. It turned out to be a good decision because Greenwood was the one who laid the pass onto onto Fred for Fred to score that goal too. And Fred too was very positive with his like running, and he was very good. One thing about Fred is that this game he was making himself available for the ball. Like previously when Lindelof or Maguire get a ball, it's like they didn't want to pass it to Fred because they knew that if they gave it to him, he was going to lose the ball and that also the formation we were so wide from each other. Today they gave him the ball and then it was like pain because we were so close to each other. He kind of like knew where everybody is, that he didn't have to look up to just do any ball. He just knew where everybody is. And then he goes there and you could tell when Maguire had the ball, he would go there and his son was like, give it to me. He was asking for the ball. I want to see more of that from, from McTominay too. He don't like the ball because he know he can't pass the ball too. So he kind of like had anytime we are in possession too. But yesterday, if you're going to learn anything from how Fred played, he needs to start being very commanding more when we have the ball to say, hey, you know what? Give me the ball. Develop that kind of like confidence too, like going forward too.
Agreed. For sure. And I think, so moving on to some of Ralph Rangnick's decisions. So like what we saw was Ralph Rangnick filled a team that was absent of a starting lineup that was absent of Donny van der Beek. Substitution bench that was absent. It was absent of Lingard, as well. The substitution bench was absent of Amad Diallo. And what we did see is a substitution of, what do you call it? I forgot his name now, the Swedish guy who just said Elanga. We saw Elanga get an opportunity, but not Amad Diallo.
Do you know what I think it is? Not to cut you off, right?
What's that?
I feel like I don't know if I'm right or wrong, right? But I feel like he's such an experienced manager. He's seen that, okay, let me play the same team that played a few days ago because there's synergy. But this Champions League game coming up, we're qualified. So some of these players, we might see Van der Beek start. Diallo will probably feature. I think he will use this time to play around with other players and give them time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but from what I heard too, Elanga was very, very impressive from the trainer they done. And to be honest with you, if you saw preseason too, he was very impressive. And when he came, I think he came on for Rashford. So he was playing up front with Ronaldo, if I'm not mistaken. He was playing up front with Ronaldo, wasn't he? He was. And he was very good. So I think he came there playing there too. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe at the weekend it will be Elanga and maybe Greenwood up front. Because obviously they are going to be like the two core. Or maybe Martial, I don't know if Martial is going to be fit or not. But whatever the case, I feel like Elanga might be involved. Maybe Ahmed might come on as a sub because it's very interesting to see. But I think they said that he really kind of like impressed in training too. That's why. And Ahmed too just coming out from injury too with no much practice or whatsoever too. And Elanga, he's been fit too. So
we got so many attacking players. It's going to be, what was you going to say, Edwin?
No, I really feel like I really hope that tomorrow, on Wednesday, he experiments so that maybe Diallo plays, Elanga starts. You know what I mean?
I really want to see a gem come. I really want to see a gem, someone like Elanga or Diallo. I really want to see a gem come through that we're like, wow, like Ralph Rangnick turned this guy into a superstar. Like, and looking,
it's going to be hard.
It's going to happen.
Elanga is like, but it's crazy for Elanga. He could, but he might play. But it could work. Imagine an Elanga and Greenwood as our strikers in the future. That would be mad.
Yeah,
too young. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but one thing too. I want to also point out too is, look, I think most of these people are just there thinking, oh, this guy is gonna stay for 6 months. He's not staying for 6 months. He's gonna stay for 18 months. I'm telling you now for a fact, United are gonna keep this guy on. Huh?
You got him on the phone, fam. He said, yeah.
But no. It's just some of the stuff that I've kind of like been seeing going on. You know, look, if this guy gets Champions League, he stays on because look, one the football is gonna be good. Two, if we get a Champions League, they're not gonna look out far because the guys that they want for the job, Poch and Rodgers, probably our main contender, and even Tank. these three guys are going to be very new to come into a situation that someone is already building. And make no mistake too, this guy is bringing his coaching staff. Why bringing your coaching staff for a 6-month job? You know, like you're going to tell someone just relocate here for 6 months and after 6 months we're going to kick you out? Bro, I'm telling you this for sure. He is building at least for 18 months. And after that, get someone else.
I agree with you. I think what Man United probably do, I think in the back of their head, they want this guy for the long term, but for safety net, just in case, they said, oh, we'll keep him for 6 months, so we'll give him the 2 years, because like I was saying before, the problem with Poch, when I actually think about it, I don't know if he can come and impact. We need a manager that can come and dismantle everything and just create from the scratch. I think Poch will just add to the problems we have before. He might buy 1 or 2 high, but this guy is actually going to teach us how to play a certain style that we can implement no matter what, because the good thing about his style, it works defensively and offensively. You know what I mean? Defensively is the precedent.
That's maybe the biggest problem. I mean, if Poch come and do what he needs to do, that is positive anyway. But the biggest problem is you're gonna give this guy 6 months, and in this 6 months, a lot is gonna change in United, like player development, how they play, the physios, the coaching. A lot of them is gonna change, and obviously you need to start planning for recruitment for the summer too. So either we find our manager before the end of the season so that they can start working on recruitment, or this guy is going to start working on recruitment. Now, you don't let him come and buy players for a different manager, you know? And this is basically on the reason why I feel like if the coaching staff come in and then they get settled and everything, and then we do well, we get Champions League comfortably, which I feel like with our features that's coming like and the way we're going to play, I don't know. I just have this strong feeling that we're going to end up getting the Champions League very comfortably. I'm even targeting Chelsea 3rd place, that we can't even get 3rd place. And I think if you do that, they're going to say, you know what, get this job 1 more year, and then in that 1 more year, let's see what we can happen. Because he actually got a 3-year contract, with the 2.5-year contract with the club. So why not make him stay for another year, and then by doing that, proper like scout and actually see who else is going to be available during that time. Ain't no point rushing.
And the good thing is, because he's got a style of football, he would know who to buy. You know what I mean? With Oli, he just bought players because they were like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what? A manager like him, I was very shocked because last time, I mean, during the interview, that's when they pointed out Klopp has been at Liverpool, for 7 years. And in that 7 years, Klopp has won just 1 Premiership and 1 Champions League in 7 years. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, that's bad. If Pep had the same record, that's going to be considered bad. If this guy was to stay at Man United for 7 years, United definitely win at least 2 Premiership. That is my opinion anyways, because managers like how he is here, it only go wrong if you don't get them the players that they need for the system they want to play. For example, see how Fred played in that kind of a formation. You cannot go ahead and buy a player like like a Matic or a slow midfielder to say, hey, come and play in that system, or a winger that's very slow, to come and play in that system. He needs players to fit into the system, and once you give him that kind of a player to fit in that system, it will be guaranteed that the team is going to get results from that.
Look, guys, talking about players, right, and systems, right? Look, I'm going to read this to you and just tell me what you think, right? The problem is we can only play players who are in the Champions League list. For example, Phil Jones, whom I would love to give him game time on Wednesday after his long-term injury. Unfortunately, he is not on the list. So we have to put our focus on players who will be allowed to play. Look, when Ralph Rangnick is talking like this, my heart is just beating. I'm getting shook because what it does seem like, he's starting from a clean sheet, like totally fresh. Like he's actually mentioning Phil Jones's name and potentially giving this guy opportunities. And I don't see Ralph Rangnick as a guy that would just say these things and just be like, you know what I mean?
Say that again. Repeat that again.
So basically, Ralph Rangnick saying he would love to give guys opportunities like Phil Jones, but he's not on the list. You know, the Champions League sort of list that was already developed and sort of registered, right? He's not on the list. Maybe because he, was injured them times or whatever. So now that only makes me feel right, because I looked at the substitution bench against Palace. Phil Jones was there.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But fair. You did it. You did not understand what that message meant.
But I'm hoping I want you guys to clarify that for me, because let me
clarify that for you.
God, because I'm getting worried, because if this guy's a man of his word and he doesn't do
what he meant was that look, this was a dead rubber, and I would love to give him a chance in the dead rubber than give him a chance in a Premier League game that matters for him to prove himself. You don't take your side to your family house.
Bro, he made bench, bro. He made bench. That's a big thing.
Because we had a lot of injured players there. Eric Bailly was on bench. If we needed a defensive cover, ain't no way he's going to come on before Eric Bailly. Ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way. But you know what? I feel like on Wednesday, he would have loved to play Phil Jones and Eric Bailly as a centre-back pairing, because Rafael Varane is not ready yet to come into the team. So naturally, that's the two that
he can't play. He can't play Phil Jones because he's not on the list.
Yeah, that's what he was just trying to say. Like, I would have loved to play him and then rest both of my two experienced centre backs. So now, if you want to rest, the two of them, it means that he has to probably play one of the youth team guy. I think we got another guy called Meng or something like that in the youth team, a centre back too. So maybe he would have probably played him play him instead. But then he would have loved to play Phil Jones there to say, hey, you know what? Have him running there. Let me see what you can do, so that when the FA Cup comes here, I can put you in there and be assured that you can do a job for me too. But don't worry, Phil Jones ain't playing no Premiership game. He ain't starting no Premiership game. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, but do you know what I would say, that you got to respect him as a manager, isn't it? Because what he's actually done come and do is like, do you know what? Let me make my own decisions. Like, I've watched the games, but like, you never know. Like, look, you like. Do you know what? Yeah,
is he gonna make him a world class?
No. He won't. But let's be honest. Yeah, Man United. Phil Jones has got the qualities to be a good defender, right? But what Man United need to wait. Let me finish here. What Man United need to stop doing is Man United need to stop buying players that play well against us. Because the only one that worked was Ronaldo. Fair enough, Ronaldo played well against us against Sporting, and we bought him. Phil Jones, the only reason we bought him is because he had Rooney on lock. You remember that time when we played? What team was he at before? Man United.
Was it Blackburn or one of
Blackburn. But
do you remember when Blackburn played? Do you know what I'm talking about, NK? When Blackburn played?
No. But Jones had potential though. Jones had potential. The biggest thing about Jones is when he came to United had a very good centre backs there. So he couldn't really play him. And then after that, so he was more playing as a defensive midfielder, more as a centre back. But when those centre backs went and he was supposed to be the number one, injuries literally hurt his career. If it wasn't that, Jones could have developed into a very good centre back. But now he passed that. He's at the age where you can't teach him nothing no more. Same thing with McTominay too. McTominay, I see him two more seasons at United. After that, he's gonna go because he's getting too old not to know how to pass a ball. And when you get to that kind of age, your development just kind of like stop. If you cannot pass a ball when you are like 20, 23, 24, you are never gonna learn that again in your game, buff. So even him, I give him another season or two, and then he's gonna get shipped off too.
But you know what? I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, he's better than. You know what I'm gonna say.
Bro, we've come to the end of the show.
He's better than Maguire.
Leave him alone for now. Let's wait and see.
Injured or not injured.
Let's get on to man of the match. So best perform.
I'm just saying, before I go, Ragnar will be my manager of the season if he stops being the captain. That's what I'm saying.
Nah, but Maguire did okay. Maguire was very professional in his play on on Sunday. That's what I'm gonna say.
It's lucky that I didn't watch it, and I don't want to see it.
NK, man of the match.
Look, man of the match. Yeah, there was a few potentials that I was thinking man of the match. You know, the lot played fantastically. Tellers played fantastic. I think I saw his stats. He was just topping all of them too. On all his stats too. I think I sent it to the group. I can't read it now because I'm on the phone. But it was amazing what he did too. And obviously Fred got a go-to. Fred played kind of like good. But you know what? There is one player that I'm gonna make my man of the match. And you know what? that is Iceman Lindelof, man. Lindelof was my man of the match. You know what? Before the game, if this was previously, there was one thing you're gonna say, Benteke. Benteke was gonna go what? Bully Lindelof. That's the first thing that comes into your head. Benteke, bully Lindelof. But not only did Lindelof, bully Benteke, he made Benteke was crying to Patrick Vieira like, look, Lindelof is bullying me, like he took my candy. And they had to take him off. They took Benteke off the pitch, bro. Lindelof, bro, he was very commanding. He was coming, the pressing, he came, he was winning the ball. And the bit that he done, that I was so proud of, getting to the end, the how just went through on goal, just going. I mean, his pace, he couldn't get him. He just fouled him and took the yellow card like a boss, man. I'm thinking, that is my guy, bro. That is my guy. If you miss him, grab him down. Got a yellow card. He said, look, I'm taking this for the team, bro. So he was my man of the match, bro, man. You know what? And from that performance, if Varane comes inside, Maguire needs to step here up, because if Maguire don't step up, look, in training, Varane in training is going to impress anyway, and the highlight is shooting.
I hear he's coming back. I hear he's coming back for...
Yeah.
Is it in Norwich? He might be back for the Norwich game.
He's coming back. But I don't know if they're going to rush him and play him straight away in the games. But eventually, his quality in training is going to get him a place in the team anyway.
Yeah.
But the question is, when he comes, who is going to partner him? And you know what? The way Lindelof is playing, if I was Maguire, I'll be looking over my shoulder, mate. I will really be looking over my shoulder, because it is not straightforward, bro.
Good picks, Good, solid analysis and good picks from you, NK. And I think, Lindelof's performance could easily go under the radar because of what we've been seeing recently with Fred and everything like that, and our fullbacks. But my man of the match, you know what, has to be Pastor Fred. Pastor Fred, right? He's been playing amazingly over the last few games, and it just goes back to the form that he had, when we was on our unbeaten run. We were doing really well, and he was in a pivot with Pogba, whoever, putting out those those top performances. And we're seeing it from him defensively and offensively now. Now he's got 2 goals and 2 assists in the Premier League, right? He didn't get that last season. He's got more than he's even done, even over the past 2 seasons in the Premier League, or even probably 3, I don't know. And I'm excited to see how Ralph Ragnick's going to utilize him more and get more out of him, because I do feel like, with the amount of energy that he has, he's got a lot of potential. I mean, if you're looking at a box-to-box guy, physically the attributes he's got, it offensively, no, not so much. But then you just wonder, if someone that knew how to coach a guy well, offensively, they can maybe improve him to a point where he can just be the perfect all-rounder. So I would say Pastor Fred. And then for the worst performed, I didn't get your worst performed, NK.
No, you didn't.
Oh, snap. Let me go back to your worst performed. Who's your worst performed?
You know what? It's between McTominay and and Rashford, It's between McTominay and Rashford. But McTominay, in the first half, you could see McTominay struggling, especially when we had the ball. His passing, he missed one or two passes that he just done. I'm thinking, mate, you need to sort yourself out, because in the next few weeks, that will get you out of the team. That will definitely get you out of the team. And Rashford too. I worry for Rashford, I worry for him.
It's crazy.
He needs to just start doing the simplest stuff. He's just trying to do too much, bro. And you know what? I know he's very experienced, more than Sancho, but he needs to start watching Sancho. Or if you are a winger and you get a ball, and there is two players ganging up on you, you don't need to take them on. Just stand back and pass the ball and make a run.
He done that again yesterday.
Does that most of the time,
on the weekend, he done that again. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you see 2, don't try to take them on, bro. Live to see another day. That's what you do, bro. Go watch Formula 1. Hamilton done that the whole of Sunday, bro. Drive to see another. Just don't do that, bro. Just pass the ball and make a run, bro. And I don't know. Maybe he just needs to just sit on the touchline, rest a bit. I don't know whatever is going on with it, but I feel like he just needs to sit down and learn a few stuff, by watching a game, and then just come back on to that. But I feel like he's still gonna come good anyways. But for now, though, I think right now, stat-wise, is very good because he got 2 goals and assists and everything. But when you watch his performance here, it's very questionable, man. Very questionable.
I agree with you. I think I don't really need to echo anymore. I think like what you said is perfectly rounds it up. I think like from what we know what Rashford could be, what we've seen, we want to see more. And when he's not living up to anywhere close to the expectation, he's always going to be that guy that is probably just going to be the worst performed in our eyes. But Scott McTominay, man, you weren't too far off, man. You need to step up or you're going to be gone soon. Look, guys, thank you for joining me in the OT99 Banter Room where opinions are shared and smoke definitely got served. Guys, remember to like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on TikTok at OT99 Banter Room, Instagram at OT99_Banter Room, and Twitter at 99 Banter. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and support the thing. Peace.